Are you looking for the best cameras for wedding photography? In this video, we will look at some of the best cameras for wedding photography on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. Sony A1. The Sony A1 is arguably the best camera for wedding photography that you can buy right now. Yes, there are close competitors that are worth mentioning, but the A1 does it the best. There are several features that work in the favor of the Sony A1, making it the top choice as a wedding photography camera. With 50 megapixels, details are beyond the valley of outstanding. The A1 sports some impressive technology that helps it keep the shutter sound silent. The A1 offers an electronic shutter system that produces no noise. Say goodbye to feeling awkward as the shutter clicks in a silent room. Sony A1 full-frame interchangeable lens mirrorless camera. When it comes to autofocusing, the A1 is one of the fastest cameras on the market. Equipped with 759 phase detection sensors, you're covered across virtually all of the frame. This makes it possible to create sharp off-camera compositions you just wouldn't get with another camera. The only gray area about the camera is the price tag. At nearly $7,000 for the body alone, it is beyond the reach of most photographers. But for professionals who need nothing but the best, the A1 is a worthy addition to their equipment list. At number 2. Sony A7r IV. The Sony A7R4 has an incredible fan following. It is widely considered one of the best low-light cameras in the business. It certainly qualifies as one of the best cameras for wedding photography. With a full-frame sensor and a large number of megapixels, this camera has the ability to capture lots of light per pixel. This means that you're going to get great images, even in those pesky low-light situations. Sony A7r IV full-frame mirrorless interchangeable lens camera with high-resolution 61MP sensor, up to 10 fps with continuous AF/AE tracking. But the A7R4 is more than just a high-megapixel camera with incredible low-light performance. It comes equipped with a SensorShift Type 5-axis image stabilization system too. With all the hand-holding you'll be doing, this will ensure your shots are tack sharp, even if you have a little bit of camera shake. Like the A1 above, the Sony A7R IV also has an electronic curtain system. That means that you're not going to have any issues shooting in a quiet environment. Pair all of this with 10 frames per second of continuous shooting and a fairly fast buffer system, and you also have one of the fastest cameras on the market with this 61 megapixel resolution camera. At number 3. Nikon Z7 II. Nikon has recently taken the plunge into the world of mirrorless. Their mirrorless systems come in the form of the Z7 and Nikon Z7 II. This might have you wondering why we chose the Z7 II rather than the Z7. The answer is relatively simple. The Z7 II has a tremendous overall improvement on the Z7 and an impressive AF system. However, if you're short on money, the Z7, or Z6 even, is still a good option. The Nikon Z7 II boasts an impressive 45MP sensor with a 493-point phase detection AF system. The AF system really gives you an upper hand when you're shooting compositions with subjects off-center. With the points spread across the frame, it really is possible to focus just about anywhere and get a sharp image. Similar to the Sony mirrorless systems, the Z7 II also has an electronic shutter mechanism. This makes for near-silent shooting. The camera also comes kit with a SensorShift Type image stabilization system, which will minimize any camera shake issues, giving you those crisp images. And if you have VR built into your lenses too, this camera body will work with that. As with the Sony A1, there's only one drawback to this camera, and it is, unfortunately, its price. While it's cheaper than the A1, at just under $2,800, it is still a pretty costly bit of kit. If you've previously owned Nikon cameras though, choosing a Nikon mirrorless system means you can use all your DSLR lenses on the body using an adapter. At number 4. Canon EOS R5. You cannot mention Sony and Nikon in the mirrorless department without talking about Canon too. The Canon EOS R5 is one of Canon's several mirrorless installments, each one standing in its own right. The R5 in particular is a swell choice for wedding photographers worldwide, whether you capture intimate ceremonies, several hundred people extravaganzas, or exciting mountaintop elopements. Canon EOS R5 full-frame mirrorless camera 8K video, 45 megapixel full-frame CMOS sensor, Digic-X image processor, up to 12 frames per second mechanical shutter, body only. Canon EOS R5 full-frame mirrorless camera, 8K video, 45 megapixel full-frame CMOS sensor, Digic-X image processor, up to 12 frames per second mechanical shutter, body only. Image from Amazon, with a magnificent detail-oriented 45 megapixel sensor, every glistening diamond on the wedding band will be clearly visible, with the right aperture, of course. This powerful sensor also lends a hand in great low-light capabilities, allowing you to shoot inside of dimmer churches with much success. With 20 FPS and great subject tracking, you'll be able to capture every instance of every moment and pick out the best of the best shots. Add some neat autofocus tracking features like eye detection and an internal stabilization system, letting you slow your shutter speed down more than you'd expect without motion blur, and you have yourself a mighty fine piece of equipment. At number 5. Leica M10 R Rangefinder camera. The Leica M10 R Rangefinder camera is an unusual addition to the list, a brand that most people don't consider when it comes to wedding photography. However, depending on the type of wedding photographer you are, this might just be the perfect addition to your kit. At a hefty price point of nearly $10,000, this really is for the fine art high-end wedding image makers. Leica has a long-standing reputation for outstanding beauty in their images. You can instantly pick out a Leica image and you know that's the Bentley or Rolls-Royce of cameras. The Leica M10R is no exception to this description, one of the most fascinating cameras on the market today. Designed to look absolutely stunning, this is definitely the camera for photographers that want to have as much of an image in their gear as they do in their wedding shoot attire. Alongside the design beauty, the camera is very durable and you can expect tremendous longevity out of your expensive purchase. With a 40MP full-frame sensor, rangefinder focus as well as an optical viewfinder, and virtually silent shutter and operation, this really is an impactful choice for wedding photography. At number 6. Nikon D850. Now when it comes to the best camera for wedding photography, we chose to, typically, select lighter cameras. But this DSLR is far from light. Which might have you wondering, why is it on our list? The Nikon D850 is a known winner. It is one of the best DSLRs we've ever come across. That's why it makes it on this list. This full-frame DSLR comes with some impressive specs. The resolution on this camera is phenomenal. Add to that the speed of its autofocus system and you know you're onto a real winner. To polish off this impressive streak, you also have an incredibly effective silent shooting mechanism. Nikon D850 FX format digital SLR camera body. Nikon's D850 offers two main shooting modes, full frame or crop mode. If you want to get a series of shots, the crop mode will allow you to shoot at 30 frames per second. However, the resolution drops. So you might prefer to shoot in full frame mode, with a frame rate of 6 frames per second. The D850 is a true low-light performer thanks to its technologies under the hood. When you're shooting a wedding, you know you'll be in good hands with this device. While this DSLR is certainly a high performer, there is little we can fault it on in a technical sense. It is important to note that the weight of this kit is going to be much more significant than a mirrorless device. You might want to equip yourself with a tripod to help manage the weight of this camera. At number 7. Canon EOS 5D Mark IV. The Canon EOS 5D Mark IV is an excellent all-round camera. It is a full-frame unit powered by a 30.4MP CMOS sensor and the Digic 6 image processing engine. When it comes to Canon full-frame options, this really is the best DSLR camera for wedding photography. The 5D Mark IV comes with a high-performing AF system with Canon's dual-pixel technology. If you're looking to get sharp images utilizing a fast autofocus system, this camera will serve you well. And if you're looking to do some videography at your wedding, too, add the fact that you can shoot 4K videos. This camera is a high performer regardless of your needs. The 5D Mark IV also has built-in Wi-Fi and NFC to take care of communication and transfer of files. This camera is pretty great, there's no point in denying it. However, it does have a drawback or two. When compared to a mirrorless camera at the same price point, the weight of this camera severely draws it back. If you're out shooting for a long time, this camera will start to take its toll on your arms. At number 8. Canon EOS 6D Mark II. Fitting perfectly between professional and hobbyist, with the career entry-level cameras you've got the Canon EOS 6D Mark II. This is a full-frame model that isn't so complex you'll be racking your brain around the controls but is still feature-packed to make photographers happy. Related post, Canon 6D Mark II vs Canon 7D Mark II. What made so many photographers go wow upon this DSLR's release was the addition of a tilting variable LCD screen on a full-frame camera model. Once reserved for amateur or hobbyist cameras, there is finally a higher quality model with this perk. This camera is small enough to be fairly comfortable in the hand, while not so small to cause concern over a bump or two. The autofocus is decent for the price point and will serve you well on shoots to come. At number 9. Canon EOS 1DX Mark III. Likely the last DSLR that Canon will ever release, the Canon EOS 1DX Mark III is a beast of a camera. Improving upon the well-beloved 1DX cameras that so many professional photographers swear by, this third rendition of the series really seemed to have listened to photographers' needs and made them happen. With a body that appears as if it already has a battery grip, the battery power on this model is tremendous, lasting hours longer than other DSLR cameras. The durable body also helps with weddings happening in unusual outdoor circumstances, like adventure elopements, so the camera will be the last thing you're going to need to worry about. However, what makes the 1DX Mark III so tremendous is its autofocus features. Here you see a DSLR that fancies some of the same autofocus options as mirrorless cameras do, such as eye-tracking focus. You will always have a sharp focus on your bride and groom's eyes, no matter how they turn. Pair that with a whopping 20 FPS and you have struck DSLR gold. At number 10. Nikon D7500. The Nikon D7500 is our only crop sensor/APS-C camera on the list, but it was worthy of inclusion despite most wedding photographers preferring a full-frame sensor. The reason for this addition onto our list is due, in part, to this camera's size and the other part due to its decent features for a more reasonable price point. Nikon D7500 DSLR camera with 18 to 140mm lens, 1582, plus 64GB memory card plus case plus Corel photo software plus ENL15 battery plus card reader plus HDMI cable plus cleaning set plus flex tripod plus memory wallet, renewed. For starters, the advantage crop sensors do have over full-frame cameras is weight and size. Still maintaining a durable construction that will withstand weddings that happen to occur under rainfall, this camera won't be as heavy in your hands as other DSLRs. As well, the 8 frames per second isn't all that slow for a wedding, helping you capture that first kiss without fail. Sporting a good autofocus system and a tilting LCD screen, the Nikon D7500 fills a gap in the industry and shouldn't go underappreciated.